Today, Ariel Clarkey and I find ourselves on, again, kind of tough situation with very low and just super clear water. This water is like looking through a glass. It is so clear you can see the bottom in most places. So it'll be interesting to find out where the trout are hiding today, what kind of habitat they're going to use to hide from the penetrating sun, and see what time of the day works best. So keep following along as today in Fish Whispering, we find the gear and tactics that work best in very low, clear water. First thing I really need to do as I get close to any of these habitat units, in this case a pool, is be as quiet as I can when I'm walking up on it. The rocks, thank goodness, are pretty flat, so they're not going to roll too much, but I need to make sure I'm not stumbling and cracking the rocks together, because the fish will most certainly hear me if I do, and they'll spook and not eat. So the more subtle my approach to the pool can be, the better off I should be. And I'm going to start casting with a very long leader. It's about a 14-foot leader, and I have it tapered down to 5X, a thin line so as to not disturb the surface of the water, and long so I can get, in most cases, near the fish without putting in the heavy fly line on top of them. And I'm starting at the tail, which is a likely feeding position for trout, and then I'll gradually work my way up to the very head of it. All right, there we go, out into the deeper water. That is much more likely a hiding position for trout than the shallow flat. Deeper water is a much more secure place for fish to hide when there's just such bright light out and such clear water. The wind's also blowing from right to left, and it's kind of nice from this side of the river. I can cast out and my flies kind of get hooked right back up to the head, and because the current's pretty even going all the way across, I can get a nice even drift at about the same speed all the way across. I don't have to mend a whole bunch. My line lies out nice and straight, and it works well. It's a nice presentation. Hopefully nice enough to fool something. Clarky, hey, come here, bud. Come here, buddy. I know, it looks good out there, but we need to stay back. Don't want to spook the fish. At least I don't want to. You probably don't care. All right, this is a much deeper pool that we've walked up on here. And what I really like about this one is there's a shadow. A nice big evergreen casting a shadow even out into the deepest part of this pool is a nice change in habitat for fish and fishermen alike. And I've already seen one fish rise, so I'm hoping we have at least a small group of fish feeding in this much deeper pool than what we were fishing earlier. Just laying that cast out nice and gentle, kind of staying over towards the bank, not really messing around in the water, so as to not send sound shock waves out to the fish. I'm just gradually working my way out. It slopes away from me, so it's shallow here. The thaw leg, the deep part, is clear on the other side. I'll just gradually work there. I don't want to bypass anything that might be working in the shallow water. It's good to just take your time, relax, clear your mind, think of nothing but what a feeding fish might be doing. Right there, refuse me. All right, one refusal. I'm gonna try it again, just see if my presentation was off maybe. That's hard to believe, but I did see a reaction from a fish right from the bottom. Didn't come all the way up though. So he's looking for something significantly different, at least from the first refusal. One more chance, maybe third time's a charm. Sometimes it's not your fly, it's just how you present it. So I'm giving my fly every chance here. If this doesn't work though, I'm gonna have to switch tactics and go at it with something else, which I think we'll have to do here. Nothing, the fish doesn't want it. Not picking up what we're putting down, so we're gonna switch over to something different and hopefully fool feeding fish in this very deep pool. Oh, had a hit on a beetle and missed it. So one reaction in the shadows as well. I was just in the middle of a mend when it hit, so I wasn't able to bring my line tight quick enough. But there is a hope that maybe a black fly like a beetle will bring another hit. Little guy hitting the hopper again. Small fish, big fly. Kind of makes for a swing and a miss. There we go. Saw the big fly drop, and it was a decent sized cutthroat on that dropper. It's just clear water. The fish are looking for something very precise, and everything really has to come together just perfectly. Wow, it's a hard fighting cutthroat. Very good fight. on a lightweight 3-weight fiberglass fly rod. Here's our sign of them. Been trying to keep him down underneath the water so that he won't have a chance to throw the hook. But now that he's up, we'll just put him in the net so you can get a better look. And this is a very healthy cutthroat. I'll just show you a quick look and we'll try to get him. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful West Slope cutthroat trout. We'll get this little fly out of a good sized cutthroat, then we'll let him go. Oh, there we go, there goes the hook. Get a better look here with the underwater camera. So it's kind of interesting. I've been getting a few hits on this big hopper on top, but what that really nice cutthroat took was just this tiny little midge imitation. Actually, it could be a trico as well. So just a small underwater fly, and that is what brought a beautiful cutthroat to my hand, finally, in this very clear, cold water. Right there. Oh my God. Beautiful cutthroat just engulfed the hopper and I still missed it somehow. Just swallowed it. Oh. Oh. What do you think, Clarky? I think even when it's right, it's wrong today. All right, here we go into the big deep hole with nymphs. And on the inside edge of it first. Just didn't seem to be wanting to come up for dry flies anymore as it gets darker. That desire may come back, but for now, I'm just gonna try to go a little deeper in the hopes I can make it easier for them. They won't have to move nearly as hard to fish subsurface as they do for something in the surface. Scraping the bottom, getting down there. Nothing yet, but I'm hopeful. Yeah. I'm not using any particular style of nymphing that's been written about, although a lot of people probably do it, but I'm not using an indicator, using a pair of nymphs, and I have my bright contrasting nylon mono that I generally use on the butt of my leader for high vis, but I'm starting out by casting just kind of like I normally would, just to cover some water. And then as it comes closer, then I kind of go into what's been known as the Euro nymphing. Some people also call it high stick nymphing, Czech nymphing, French nymphing. There's all a bunch of different little techniques to use, but pair nymphs, I have the clear tippet there off the colored line, and I'm casting it out and just kind of bumping it along the bottom, keeping it as tight as I can. I know Pat Weiss on Team USA, he does a similar. He lays more fly line out on the water than a lot of other, say, professional tournament anglers use. Well, tournament anglers, they're not professional, they don't get paid to do it. Whereas the typical style for doing this is more like this, just kind of throwing your leader out and your line and not having fly line on the water. So this would be more Euro nymphing or high stick nymphing, and just staying in real close, keeping those flies on a tight line, and just adjusting your depth. I mean, I can see the rocks, I can see the moss, and I can see where my flies are. But what I do is usually just to cover more water, especially cutthroat, they'll generally travel to feed, and if they're gonna feed, they're going to. So hopefully, just by getting my nymphs out in approximately the right area, now all as I watch is either my fly line or the butt of my leader where all the colors are. And if I see my line change, just yank out or just even drop down or shoot out, whatever it might do. If it changes its drift, I'm gonna lift up as the bottom and hope that it's a fish. So same idea of watching your line very closely, but I use it a lot. You know, indicators are mass, it'll splash the water, they might disturb the feeding fish a little more. I like to practice some of my tournament fishing techniques when I can. So I'll often forego the indicator, and the benefit is a little bit more feel when the fish take. And less of a splash when you don't get that indicator hitting this clear water and spooking fish for miles around. Oh, that might have been a fish, crap. Oh, there we go. Yeah, right up at the head of the pool. Woo! Man, I was just throwing the mend in my line to get it to bend around the current, and I felt a tug tug. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful fish, as they all are, but this one particularly so. Hopefully I can show it to you. Get it in. It took one of the nymphs, obviously. Oh, soft tackle hare's ear. The last one I tied on for something a little different. I saw the mayfly on top of the water. Put a soft tackle hare's ear nymph on to kind of imitate an emerging mayfly, and it seems to have worked. This is a good sized fish. 5X tippet, really thin tippet to let that fly kind of move around in the current. 3-weight fiberglass rod, 7 feet long, so not super long, but enough to get into smaller streams without snagging the willows too much. And just enough muscle to get beautiful fish in like this. Oh, wow. All right, buddy, we'll see if we can't tease it in upstream a little bit. The fight is just amazing. Shorten my leader a hair. Come on, bud. Okay, okay, it barely fits in the net. Okay. Yeah. Oh. So much hard work has gone into today to finally land just a big, fat, native fish in just super difficult conditions. Makes Clarky happy. Oh, just a beautiful fish. And it wasn't on that hare's ear. It was on, oh no, it was. Yep, soft tackle hare's ear. Beautiful competitive angler fly on what must be an 18-inch native West Slope cutty. Look at this guy. Just the most beautiful fish you could possibly find on a Rocky Mountain river. See ya, bud. And a fantastic fish once again here at Fish Whispering TV. Nope, better get the net.